think my hair is just about too long to stay up like this, which is not good because I just decided yesterday, I think I'm gonna grow my hair out for the indefinite future, for like a year or more. Of course, I'll get haircuts along the way to clean things up, but I think I'm gonna let it grow really long. I actually used to have my hair super long when I was a kid, like literally down to my shoulders, and it was blonde, which I don't know what happened. But in my entire adult life, I have not had hair longer than this, pretty much. So I'm actually super excited to see what happens with that. But in the meantime, that means a lot of awkward haircuts. Anyway, enough beating around the bush. Today is a question and answer video that I promised from last week. You guys sent in your questions and now I'm here to answer them. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First question is actually a bunch of questions, and it's from James McElraith. So he says, a couple questions for the Q&A. Who or what inspired you to start your channel? If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? And who is your favorite artist/musician? All right, so I'm gonna take this one step at a time. So who or what inspired you to start your channel? All right, so it's story time. I've told this story before, so if you've heard it, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but if you haven't, I basically got into the whole personal development scene because of one simple Google search, which was how to talk to girls. Because I found myself halfway through college with no game, no idea like how to talk to girls. And so I wanted to change that. And so I decided to look it up on the internet, and I ended up stumbling across some really good videos. First from How to Beast, because he had a few approach videos where he would literally just approach girls in the streets, which at the time I thought was just mind-boggling. I didn't even realize that it was possible to just randomly approach a girl in the street. I thought that was the weirdest thing. So seeing him do that was super inspiring. I was like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. And then that led me into RSD, which is Real Social Dynamics. In case you haven't seen, I made a video about them, and I think I'm actually gonna do a follow-up video to that one this Friday, so stay tuned. But basically RSD is mainly focused on pickup and dating and all this sort of stuff, but they also talk about much deeper concepts like just personal development in general, because it's really all about building yourself up and becoming the best man that you can possibly be so that you can get these women. Women. So yeah, that pretty much answers that question. It was mostly How to Beast and RSD, but seriously, I spent all my free time for like 2 years just watching personal development videos. So basically, I just wanted to become part of the scene. I felt like I had learned so much and I extracted all the most valuable information, and I just wanted to kind of combine that with my experience and share it with the world. So I sure hope you're getting something out of this. All right, part 2 of that question. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? So, I've traveled a lot, especially through Europe, and I really loved a lot of those cities, and I could totally live in some of them. But really the place that I think I'd really want to live is California, specifically San Diego. So a lot of the people closest to me in my life know this about me, because for pretty much my entire last year of college, I told everybody that I was moving to San Diego and starting a YouTube channel. First of all, I have never been to San Diego or even California in general, but just based on everything that I had heard about it, I thought that it would be the perfect place for me, and a lot of people told me that too. And part of what spurred that is because since I was gonna be doing YouTube, I could live wherever I wanted, and I figured California would be a great place to do YouTube. But then what ended up happening was, at the end of that last semester of college, I started getting into a really serious relationship, and so it was like, geez, do I really want to just leave this all behind? Especially considering the fact that the reason why I want to do YouTube is so that I could eventually work from anywhere. And so why would I be forcing myself to live somewhere when I don't need to do that, when the whole point of doing YouTube is so that I can live anywhere? And so that, combined with some other factors, I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna stay here. And while I'm no longer in that relationship, I'm actually so glad that I stayed here, because now I'm living in this awesome house on the lake with 2 of my closest friends, and I get to see my parents all the time still, so it's actually not a bad deal at all. So honestly, if I could live anywhere in the world, it would be right here. But second to that would probably be San Diego. And last part of this question, who is your favorite artist/musician? So that's hard to say, because that changes literally like every couple weeks or every month or so it's really hard to say. But definitely my favorite genre is house, and then a close second would probably be techno. But right now, if you had to ask me who my favorite DJ was, I would probably say Marco Carola. In case you don't know him, he's pretty much a techno DJ, but he also plays some house. I've seen him live twice now, and both times they were amazing shows, and one of those times was actually, he played from sunrise till sunset, but I was only there for a few hours, but still, this guy knows how to party. All right, question number 2 comes from Will Zarati. He says, day 1, I appreciate you. Do you have any tips or courses that you learned from to edit your videos? Quality keeps getting better and better. Keep grinding. Smiley face. 1K club. Thank you, I appreciate you, and I'm glad to have you as part of the 1K club. But in terms of courses for editing my videos, actually nothing. Most of how I've learned has just been pretty much experimentation and trial and error and stuff within Final Cut Pro, the software that I use. But then whenever I don't know how to do something and I'm really stuck, then I'll just look it up on YouTube videos. And so there's not even a specific channel that I go to for that type of stuff, because it's literally like I'll just Google, how do you do this in Final Cut Pro, and whatever video comes up, I'll watch that one. And of course I get a lot of my editing styles and stuff from other channels. So I've been kind of experimenting to figure out exactly what kind of editing style I like the most, but I've actually kind of more or less copied some other people's styles just one time for one video, just to try it out and see what it's like and see if there are any elements from that I would like. Like for example, in that video where I asserted that Gary Vee is very spiritual for these 7 reasons, in that video I tried to do it kind of like a charisma on command style. And then this recent video of I meditated 1 hour a day every day for a week, that was based on Matt D'Avella's type of style. In fact, he actually did a very similar video like a year or two ago. But yeah, in terms of any tips about editing, I'd say the way I've gone about it is pretty good. Like watching other channels, trying out some of the stuff that they do, seeing if you like that, seeing what you think you can work into your own style, and just eventually figure out what style of video you want to make. And in terms of the technical stuff, if you don't know how to actually do something, then just go on YouTube or Google and figure it out. And the last question is from Lola. She says, "Congratulations, your content is awesome. Hope the new decade only escalates the popularity of your channel." Thank you. Question for your video. You read a lot of books. False. So 1, how long does it take approximately to get through one book? I'd say probably like 6 months on average maybe. Like I seriously only read maybe 1 to 2 books a year. 2, what are the criteria when you choose what books to invest into? I don't really have any exact criteria. It's really just whatever book kind of interests me at the time, whatever I think would benefit me but is also kind of interesting. And that being said, I kind of share the same view as Sam Harris on this one. He pretty much explains how there is an infinite amount of books out there. And so if he starts getting through 1 or 2 chapters of a book and he's realizing that he doesn't really like it or he's not gonna get much value out of it, he just stops reading it and chooses a different book, because there are seriously millions of books. So if you're not enjoying one, just why are you wasting your time? And 3, last but not least, do you ever feel drained from info overload? So before I get into this one, I have to explain that I have a membership to Blinkist. So while I only read 1 to 2 books a year, I actually get the knowledge of probably, 10 or 20 books a year. But how is this possible? Well, Blinkist basically summarizes a bunch of nonfiction books into these 15 to 20 minute summaries. And they have it both in text form and the audio form, so I usually sit there, read along while I'm listening to it. And the really good thing about this is that it means it only takes you 15 to 20 minutes to get all the information from a book. So if it turns out that you don't actually really like it or it doesn't give you that much value, you only wasted 15 or 20 minutes. And conversely, if you actually really liked it, then you could still go ahead and get the full book or the audio book and listen to the entire thing to get more information. So anyway, for the third part of that question, yes, I do get info overload because I'm reading these 15-minute summaries of entire books. So I can only read 1 or maybe 2 of those a day, because if I start to read like 3 or 4 of those in a day, you're gonna start to forget a lot of that. Thank you guys so much for asking those questions. I really hope you're happy with the answers, because, well, that's all I got. And as for the other stuff that I talked about in last week's video, the Patreon and coaching and stuff, as well as the giveaway, I'll have more information on those in about a week or 2. So with that being said, if you've liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, do what you gotta do, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.